Whether you love pop culture, sci-fi, comic books, or superheroes, C2E2 is the place where this all comes together. Chris Delando, event manager for C2E2, here with a preview. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
April 11th through the 13th, you're taking over McCormick Place. I mean, we're going to have a ton of celebrities, 400 exhibitors. I mean, it is just a huge production to put on, but it's done so wonderfully. But tell me a little bit about, what we can expect this year.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the guest list. We have a really stacked lineup this year. The cast of Outlander, a Lord of the Rings reunion, Critical Role, not to mention the first ever Breakfast Club reunion with all 5 cast members, which is incredibly exciting. On top of our artist alley filled with, 450 top comic creators, plus all the exhibitors, plus all the panels and late night programming, plus all the comedy programming we're doing this year. So we really have a really exciting lineup for 2025.
First of all, I wanted to talk about that because, when I saw that some of the cast members for Breakfast Club were coming in, and then when Emilio signed on a little, a few moments, after everybody else, it just seemed like, wow, it's not only is it such a big part of 80s culture, the Brat Pack, but also John Hughes and those films, being shot here right in Chicagoland.
Yeah, it's not a lot of thought went into doing that in Chicago for the 40th anniversary, and there was some talk of, do you think that we could maybe get Emilio? And fortunately for us, he was so game to do it with doing the reunion and just celebrating that movie in the city of Chicago is unlike anything.
Yeah, there's going to be a panel discussion. You can buy your photo ops, your autographs. Make sure you get those early because I feel like a lot of people are coming in for that. You're going to get those 80s babies. You're going to know exactly who's coming in for this movie, right?
Yes, exactly. And we are printing a red locker backdrop for people to take photos in front of with them. So if you get your photo op with them, it will be in front of that iconic lockers backdrop. So that's exciting.
That's going to be awesome. Yeah, because you can do it as a group or you can do it individually. As well too, and like you mentioned, Sam Heughan coming in, Outlander. I mean, that's a huge show. He's always such a big draw, but a lot of other cast members from the show are also coming there too. I mean, this is exciting.
Yeah, David and Charles will be at the show too. Outlander is, the show is over, but it's still going strong, and it's still got a really, really rabid fan base. And as soon as we announced Sam, everyone was very excited.
Let's talk a little bit about Lord of the Rings. I think that's one of those series that just has generations of fans. But we got a lot of, we got Sean, we got Elijah, we got Dominic, we got Billy coming in. I mean, just talking about, having the 4 of them come in there and just kind of what that does for that franchise.
Plus Andy Serkis, plus John Rhys Davies.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's multi-generational at this point. Obviously those books were such an indelible piece of pop culture, from the 50s until 2000 when that movie came out, or 2001. But over the last 24 years of those movies, you've had people who've grown up with them, and then those people have had kids and introduced their kids to them. So yeah, there's at least 3 generations of people who are dyed-in-the-wool Lord of the Rings fans, and we're really excited to be able to bring them all to the show this year.
And obviously, there's a lot of moving parts, and you're kind of leading this team there. But do you ever get a chance to take a moment to just kind of step back, look at the crowds, look at the costumes, and just kind of take in of everything that you've created?
I do and I don't. I do try to manufacture those moments for myself. I joke. I'm half serious that in my 8 years at this company, I've never actually gotten to sit down and watch a panel, but I always do make time to go and see the cast come out on the stage and hear the big roar of the crowd, because that really gets me excited. So you can probably see me hanging in the back when the Breakfast Club takes the stage, or when the Lord of the Rings people take the stage, and then as soon as they're sitting down to start the panel, I'm out the door because I got to run somewhere else.
I got a million things to do, but I'll tell you this: as a fan, and someone who goes, year after year to this, it's that moment that you're walking in and you see a stormtrooper next to the Addams family, next to Wonder Woman, next to someone dressed as Mario and Luigi, and everyone just kind of coming together, families, young kids, people coming by themselves, coming with their friends. And just it's just a wonderful, positive environment. And then you walk in those doors and you're like, okay, I'm here with my people. I just feel like I can just be myself. And it's just such a wonderful feeling, especially as you're going up those escalators, to the big convention there.
Thank you. Thank you. Our team takes that community aspect and that vibe very seriously. And we work very diligently to foster those good vibes at the show. But ultimately, it also comes down to the fans who come through the door. Like you said at the top of this call, they're just so much nicer and more positive when they're at C2E2. Everyone's just having fun. You know what it is? Everyone's just having a good time, and they're sharing that good time with others, and they're celebrating their love of fandom in a completely judgment-free zone.
And I'll tell you this, I only go to McCormick Place, several times a year. One is to get, your stuff for the Chicago Marathon and C2E2. So it's always weird when I go there and people are like in suits, like people should be dressed up in costumes or to run. Like this feels weird to have it as like businessmen. It feels weird to me.
Yeah, you're gonna see some really interesting folks giving side glances on the Metro this weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah, who have no idea that it's coming in. They're like, what is exactly is happening?
Yeah.
So 3 days. Tell us a little bit about maybe some of the exhibitors. Obviously that's another big part is that people want to take some of this merchandise and souvenirs and exclusives and bring them home with them.
Yeah, I mean, the show floor at C2E2 is packed, no matter what you're into. We're really excited about CGC. They'll be right at the front of the show floor this year. So if you are a hardcore collector and you want to get your comics or your collectibles graded, you can bring them to CGC and they'll take care of that for you. Bandai will be on the show floor. We've got a bunch of local Chicago brands and exhibitors who are coming back to the event this year that we love to see. Revolution Brewery, of course, will be back sponsoring our yard area, our beer garden. The Chicago White Sox will be there. Pro Wrestling Tees, another Chicago staple, will be at the event. They're bringing a lot of international wrestling talent to the show this year. So if you're a wrestling fan, there's something really special for you. But then, all manner of toys and games and collectibles and comics and books and authors. Dragonsteel, Brandon Sanderson's company, will be at the show selling some exclusive Brandon Sanderson books. So if you're like a hardcore fantasy nerd, that's something to not miss out on. And then that's not even touching all of the incredible stuff you can see in Artist Alley that are unique products that are created by those artists and crafters in that space. So whether it's original comic art or prints or stickers or anything that are all made by those artists, many of whom are Chicago local.
Awesome. And then what gets you, I guess at the heart of you, not at work, probably at home, like what do you like to collect? What are you the most excited for? Like what is really like, oh, I get to be a part of this because I'm a fan of.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, you could see from my background that I've got a lot of toys and collectibles. I've got a lot of books and comics. I've been fortunate that in my travels over the years, I have accumulated just about everything that I'm looking for. But every once in a while, I'll be walking down an aisle and I'll stop and I'll see something that's like a holy grail of mine, and I still to get that excitement that a fan does of like finding a back issue that they've been missing to fill a hole, or finding a toy or a collectible that I used to have when I was a kid and like have to have a nice inbox version of. That still gets me going.
That is awesome. And obviously I'm a big Star Wars fan. John Boyega is also going to be there as well too. So make sure you say hello to him, especially if if the Force is with you and that's that is your series.
Absolutely, yeah. 10 years this year for Force Awakens. It's hard to believe that was 10 years ago that John Boyega first showed up as Finn, but he's an incredible talent, and we're so happy to have him at the show. We've had him at a couple events already over our other ReedPop shows over the past 6 or 8 months, and he's always been a delight. So if you're a Star Wars fan, meeting him will not disappoint.
Awesome. And then final thing here before we go, photo ops and autographs, do we need to buy them ahead of time? Can we buy them on site, or is it just like some of them sell out and you're kind of out of luck, like tells people what they should?
That's a really great question, and I get it a lot. So you should check our website, c2e2.com. Photo ops should always be purchased in advance because they're all pre-sold online. You can buy them at the show if they are still available. And then for autographs, certain autographs are pre-purchased, certain can be purchased at the table. So that's all listed on the website as well. If you can pre-buy an autograph for a specific talent you're looking for, it is highly, highly recommended, because if they sell out, then they're gone. And then if they are only available at the show, we just recommend that you show up as early as you can to get in that line.
Awesome. Well, we cannot wait. It's coming up very, very soon, April 11th through the 13th at McCormick Place, c2e2.com for all the information. We will see you in Chicagoland very, very soon. And thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was lovely.
Awesome. Thank you.